Okay, in Algebra 2, we are extending on the concepts you learned in Algebra 1. So for Chapter 0, we're going to kind of do a quick review of Algebra 1. So the first topic we're going to review is linear functions and graphing linear functions. So the first form we learned was the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form was the easiest to graph because hidden in the y equals mx plus b was the m. Remember, m is the slope. And then the b value at the end was the y-intercept. The y-intercept is a point, so we call it 0, comma b is the y-intercept. Okay, using the y-intercept and the slope, you can graph any line in slope-intercept form. So for example 1, let's look at this first equation. It's y equals 2/3 x minus y. The m is the slope. The slope is always with the x, so the 2/3 is the slope. The y-intercept is the minus 5. As an ordered pair, I write 0, comma, negative 5. The y-intercept tells me where to start. The slope tells me which direction to move. So 0, comma, negative 5, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is down here. That's my starting point. The slope tells me which direction to go. Rise over run, so I'm going to rise 2, and I'm going to run 3. So from the negative 5, rise 2, run 3, and put another point. You can repeat the slope as many times as you want, and you can also go in the negative direction. This is a linear equation, so I'm going to draw a line, make it long, put some arrows, because it's infinite. Okay, let's go ahead and try the next one. If you want to work ahead, go ahead, work ahead, and then check your answers at the end. Okay, for b, it says f of x. If you remember this notation from Algebra 1, it's another way of saying y equals. It's especially useful when we have more than one equation at the same time. Okay, so my slope is right there with the x. It's negative 5/4. My y-intercept is the plus 2, so my y-intercept is 0, 2. I'm going to start on the y-axis at positive 2. The slope is negative 5/4. The negative can go with the 5 or the 4, but it can't go with both of them. So I'm going to go ahead and assume the negative is with the 5. If the negative is with the 5, rise over run, I'm going to go down, and I'm going to go right. From my y-intercept, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, run, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now if you gave the negative to the denominator, you would get the same line. Your second point would just be in a different place, which is irrelevant. Okay, let's look at C. Y equals negative 2x minus 1. The slope is negative 2. Y-intercept is negative 1, which I write as an ordered pair, 0, comma, negative 1. Negative 1 is down here. And my slope is rise over run. There is no denominator. It's not a fraction, so go ahead and make it a fraction. You don't have to write the 1, you just have to remember it's there. So rise over run, I'm going to go down 2. I'm going to go right 1. Draw your line. Long arrows. Straight. Linear, I should say. Okay, for dy equals x plus 2. The slope is normally the coefficient of the x. Since there is no number in front of the x, this is a 1. So my slope is 1. If you want to think of it as 1 over 1, because you know there needs to be a rise and a run, that's fine. My y-intercept is positive 2, so I'm going to say 0, comma, 2. So when I graph 0, 2, I'm going to rise 1 over 1. Okay, if you want to go up 1 over 1 again to make your line straighter, you could. If you want to make it negative over negative, it would go this way. Okay, as long as you get your straight line. Okay, let's do 2 more like this. Okay, y equals 2/5 x. Slope is 2/5. What's the y-intercept? When there's nothing there, the number for nothing is 0. So my y-intercept is 0, 0. So this passes through the origin. And then I'm going to rise 2, run 5. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over there. If you want to make your line more straight, you could go down 2 and left 5. Negative over negative is still positive. Okay, last one. Y equals negative x. Okay, what's the slope? Coefficient of the x, negative 1. If you want to put negative 1 over 1, that's fine. You don't have to write it, but when you graph it, you need to respect the fact that there is a run of 1. What's the y-intercept? It's nothing there. Nothing there, 0, 0. So I'm going to start at the origin. My slope is negative 1 over 1. If you want to repeat it a couple times, you can. If you want to give the negative to the other one, you can too. But then go ahead and draw your straight line. Okay. Okay, hopefully you remember that. Okay, for the next one, this is slope-intercept form as well. I can tell because I can see the y-intercept on all these graphs very clearly. So I'm going to write the equation in slope-intercept form. You could start it with y equals, you could start it with f of x equals, it's up to you. I'm going to go y equals. Okay, what is the y-intercept here? Well, the y-intercept is this positive 1. So I know there's going to be a plus 1. What's the slope? Well, since the 2 points are clearly marked, I'm going to use those 2 points. But I could also use any other point that's at a nice corner. This point is nice. But since they're marked for me, I'll go ahead and use them. So if I travel from this point to this point, I'm going to consider my rise and my run. I'm going to rise 3, and I'm going to run 2. So my slope is 3/2. Slope-intercept form is mx plus b. So my equation is y equals 3/2 x plus 1. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, again, I'm going to label it y equals, but you can make it f of x equals, j of x equals, or your favorite of x equals. Okay, now the y-intercept is here. It's positive 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put my positive 4. Okay, my slope. I'm going to use these 2 points just because they're marked. From here to here. I'm going to do rise over run. To go from here to here, I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down 1. I'm going to go right 3. My slope is negative 1/3, and it's mx plus b. Had you gone from this point to this point, it would be positive 1, and it would be a negative 3. So it would have the same slope, or it does not matter. Okay, y equals, what's our y-intercept on this one? Oh, down here, it's the -5. Okay, the slope. Okay, I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going left to right because I'm right-handed, and that's the only reason. Okay, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go right 1, so that's 3/1. 3/1 is just 3, so this is 3x minus 5. Okay, now sometimes they give you your equation in standard form. Standard form is of the form ax plus by equals c, which, for example, is something like 5x minus 2y equals 10. A, b, and c are integers, or they're whole numbers. They're not fractions, they're not decimals. We like them to be whole numbers. All 3 of these equations are in standard form. Okay, now standard form is useful for some things, but slope-intercept form is often easier to graph. So we're just going to practice transforming the equation into slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And again, why do we want to transform this to slope-intercept form? Just because it's easier to graph. Okay, so I want it to be y equals, if I look at a, I have 2x plus 3y equals 15. I want to isolate the y. So if I want to solve this, I want to keep the y, I want to cancel the 2x. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 2x to the other side. That's going to go away. 3y equals, now if I do 15 minus 2x, they're not like terms. I cannot actually subtract them, but I don't want to lose them either, so I need to write both terms there. I'm going to put the negative 2x first and the positive 15 second. If you would like to write the 15 first and the minus 2x second, that's fine as well. Now I almost have it in the y equals form, but I have a 3y here. To cancel the 3, divide everything by 3. Y equals, if I do negative 2x divided by 3, I get negative 2/3 x. If I do 15 divided by 3, I get positive 5. Okay, now this is slope-intercept form. And again, why do we like this? Because I can graph it. My y-intercept is positive 5. My slope is negative 2/3. Now, when you look at my work, if you only write the blue steps, that's enough work to show. The orange steps are to help us get to the next step. If you can do it without writing the orange steps, that's fine. If they help you, then you should keep writing them. Okay, at this point, you need to make judgments for yourself. Let's try the next one. Okay, it says negative x plus 5y equals negative 3. I wanted to say y equals. So I'm okay with the 5y. I'm not okay with the negative x. So I'm going to cancel the negative x. I'm going to add it to the other side. Okay, now if it freaks you out because it's an x, you can always put a 1 here. It is like a 1x. Let's add the 1x over. Okay, that's going to cancel. Okay, so I have 5y equals. Now, negative 3 and positive 1x are not like terms. I cannot combine them together, but I can make sure I don't lose them. So I'm going to put the positive 1x first and the negative 3 next. If you do it in the opposite order, that's fine. Just be very respectful and careful with your signs. Okay, now I have 5y equals 1x minus 3. I want it to say y equals, so I need to cancel the 5. Okay, you can make a big divide by 5. You can make little divide by 5s. Or you can not show the orange step at all, which is just as fine, as long as you don't mess up. Okay, 1 divided by 5 is 1/5. 3 divided by 5 is 3/5. Okay, this is slope-intercept form. Okay, and again, the blue steps have to be there. The orange steps are there to help you. And it's up to you which ones you choose to include. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, 6x minus 2y equals 10 is standard form. I want it in slope-intercept form, which is y equals. So let's cancel the 6x. I'm going to subtract the 6x. Be careful, that's a minus 2y or a negative 2y. So it has to come down negative 2y equals, you can write 10 minus 6x. You can write negative 6x plus 10. You cannot combine them as they are not like terms. Okay, let me go ahead and divide everything by negative 2. Okay, y equals positive 3x, negative 5. Okay, and again, blue steps, important orange step, there to help you. Okay, what is that, standard form? Okay, now let's consider horizontal and vertical lines. Okay, horizontal. Which way is horizontal? Like the horizon. So it's going to go this way. If your line goes this way, it's going to intersect the y-axis. So your equation is going to be of the form y equals some number. We're going to call it k. Okay, now if it's a vertical lines go in this direction. Okay, if you're a vertical line, you're going to intersect the x-axis. Your x's are going to stay constant, so I'm going to say it's going to be of the format x equals, I'm calling it a k. That represents some number. X equals 2, 3, 4, negative 25. Okay, let's graph these real quick. Okay, this is of the form x equals 2, which means it's going to be a vertical line. Okay, so on the x-axis, I'm going to go to 2. This is the x-axis. Here is x is 2 right here. Okay, x equals 2 must be on the graph. It's a vertical line, so it's going to go this direction. Okay, and if you look at the points on this, this is 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5. What do they have in common? X always equals 2. Okay, let's look at x equals negative 3. Since it starts with x equals vertical line. On the x-axis, let's go to negative 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a vertical line, so it's going to go here. And again, if you examine all the points on the line, all of them have their x value equal to negative 3. Okay, one more. It says y equals 4, y equals horizontal. So on the y-axis, this is the y-axis, so I'm going to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's going to be a horizontal line, like the horizon. Think of a beautiful sunset. Okay, along this line, all the points have the y-coordinate of 4. This is 0, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, which means it matches the line y equals 4. Okay, one more type of equation. It's point-slope form. Okay, point-slope form is the one that looks funny, but it's so convenient. It says y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It's called point-slope form because they give you a point and they give you a slope. Okay, slope, m. I don't know why. Okay, now the point is x1, comma y1. Okay, and it's a random point. It does not have to be an intercept. Okay, so we're going to write the equation in point-slope form. It's going to look like this. Afterwards, we are going to transform it to slope-intercept form just to practice that process. Okay, now why am I using point-slope form? Because they gave me a point and they gave me a slope. Okay, now the format is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to say y minus something equals m. What is m? M is 3. And then it's going to be x minus x1, whatever x1 is. Okay, let's see what x1 is. X1 is the x coordinate of the point they give me. So this is my x1. Okay, what goes here? This is y1. What's y1? Y1 is the y coordinate of the point they give me. The point they gave me is 2, 7, so this is my y. Okay, so this is point-slope form right here. Point-slope, oh, I just spelled that wrong. Point-slope form, okay? If they ask you for the equation of the line, this is a perfect equation of the line. It happens to be in point slope form. We often like things in slope intercept form, so let's transform this to slope intercept form. Slope intercept form says y equals. So we need to solve this for y equals. So I have, what am I going to do first? Distribute? Let's distribute. Minus 6. Good. I need to say y equals, so let me add this 7 over. Y equals 3x. Negative 6 plus 7 is positive 1. Okay, this format, slope intercept form. So depending on the question, you're going to give whatever format they ask you to give. Let's see. No, that's all I got to say about that. Let's try B. Okay, point slope form. Y minus what? The y coordinate. What's the y coordinate? 11. Equals m. What's m? 4. X minus the x coordinate. What's the x coordinate? Negative 6. But if I do minus negative 6, I get positive 6. Okay, this is called point slope form. This one is point slope form. This one is point slope form. If they only ask you for the equation of the line, you're done right there. That's a beautiful equation. If they ask you to transform it to slope intercept form, we're going to solve for y. Now, do I want to do this? No. So if they don't ask me to, I'm not going to. 4x plus 4 times 6 is 24. I'm going to add the 11 over. And you can not write the yellow part if you would like. 24 plus 11 is 35. Okay, so this one is the slope intercept form. This one is slope intercept form. Okay, one more. Okay, C, 4, 5, and 2, 11. Oh, man. Is this point slope form? What did they not give me? They gave me 2 points and no slope. Okay, we need to find the slope ourselves. It's been a minute, but we can do it. Okay, slope is rise over run. Or you learned it was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, rise is the y's. So I'm going to subtract the y's. Y, y. Okay, at the bottom is the run. The run is the horizontal direction. That's the x's. So I'm going to do x2, x1. Okay, what do I get from this? 11 minus 5 is 6. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. Okay, why did I need that? Because I'm doing point slope form. So y minus something equals, what's m? It's negative 3. Okay, now for my x1, y1, you can pick either ordered pair. You pick whichever one looks easier to you. I'm just going to do the first one since neither one looks particularly bad today. So it's y minus 5, x minus 4. Okay, that's point slope form. If they ask me to stop at point slope form, I'm done. If they ask me to transform it, I will keep going. So let's just transform it for the fun of it. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Okay, so in slope intercept form, it's y equals negative 3x plus 17.